GoGoNihon.com. Live and study in Japan.
I would like to introduce one of our former students that applied through us. Go ahead and tell us your name, when you applied, and what school you went to, and let's start with her.
Sure. I'm Michael. I'm from America. I applied in 2012, around the summer, and just a little bit of background. I graduated university and I was doing a 9-to-5, and I always saw Japan as like this impossible dream. And I found Gogo Nihon through a Google search, and it kind of sounded too good to be true. And I sent an inquiry. I got in contact with Chris and told him my story, and he helped me find a school. And I attended intercultural in this past year. I came to Japan a year ago this January. And should I go into the school?
Yeah, I mean, if you could go ahead and tell us a little bit about, I guess, a normal day at school.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I came to Japan not knowing a word of Japanese, and it was a little overwhelming coming here and getting used to the culture shock. And intercultural helped me the entire way. I attended the beginner course. I was in the afternoon, so my class would start around 1:25. It was very relaxed. They created a great atmosphere where I was able to feel comfortable speaking a language I've never spoken before. My teachers are fantastic. They do a great job of setting up the class structure. I had 4 different teachers a week, and this way I was always hearing different voices, and I couldn't get used to one voice. And this is very important, because going out into the real world, you hear different people, different men and women talking, and when it's a foreign language, it really helps to have all kinds of different input. The students were from all over the world, and that's one thing I didn't expect coming to Japan. Is not only did I make friends with Japanese locals, but I made friends with other students from Korea, China, all over Europe, and we're all there learning this language together. And intercultural sets up a way where we're able to freely talk with each other, and it's been a fantastic experience so far.
Okay, great. So, I mean, we do get a lot of questions of, from previous students or people that are interested in applying. It was basically, once you get here, I guess, first of all, what would be one of the hardest things that you want to tell people? Like, what was the hardest thing to transition? And I guess number 2, would be finding a part-time job. So let's start with, what for you was the hardest?
Sure.
In the transition.
The hardest for me was when I stepped off the plane. I came here on New Year's Day, January 1st, and I stepped off the plane, and suddenly I couldn't read signs. and that was a bit of a culture shock. I had an apartment set up with me through Gogo Nihon. You guys found me a great apartment in Ikebukuro. And all I had was a printout of a Google map of where my apartment should be in this crazy city. I think the hardest part for me was getting used to not so much the language as it was more the culture. One thing being an American is we have a lot of personal space, and being here in Japan, being on trains, like especially packed trains, we're packed in there, and just the whole culture shock was a bit of it was an interesting transition, but it's one that I was ready to make coming here to Japan.
Absolutely.
And for the part-time job, I actually found some lessons teaching English. There's a lot of students, Japanese locals and others as well, that are always interested in English lessons.
Right, absolutely.
And I was actually able to quite easily find students that were willing to do some part-time lessons.
Okay. Great. So, like you mentioned, you went to intercultural. how would you rate it? Would you highly recommend this school to other students? I mean, I'm sure. Do you know any other friends at different language schools, or but would you recommend intercultural?
I would highly recommend intercultural because they focus on the language, but they also focus on your life here in Japan. They have some great events. They took us to Fuji-Q, to an onsen. They bring in locals and to give presentations, and we learned how they make melon pan, which is delicious once you come to Japan. And they not only help you with the language, but they assist you with anything that you need. If you need to go see a doctor, they can send their Japanese staff along with you to communicate. If you're worried about that language gap, they help you get a cell phone, they help you set up a bank account. It's just phenomenal. The support, the staff, they are there for you night and day. The teachers are great. I really, really enjoyed my time at Intercultural.
Okay, great, fantastic. Okay, I guess we'll use this time to go ahead and answer any of the questions that you guys might have in the live stream chat. Any questions that you might have for either myself or Michael, he'll go ahead and answer any questions that you might have about being a student, attending intercultural, or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to see some questions that you guys have already asked. One of the questions that was asked was, let's see here, says, "Hi Chris, what is the payment process like for tuition fees?" Basically, the tuition fees payment is due once every 6 months. So you don't have to pay the 1 year or the 2 year tuition fee up front. To be a long-term student, all you have to do is pay the 6-month tuition fee. It's due about 1 month before the start of the session, and all you have to do is pay for 6 months, and then after that, just every following 6 months. And then we have a question from Ustreamer 992760. How's the food?
How's the food? It's definitely a change from the cuisine I was used to in the States, but there is such a wide variety here. The district I live in, Nakabane, like I try a different restaurant every week, and I still have hundreds to go, and it's phenomenal. The quality that they put into everything here it's great. From udon, soba, yakitori, yakiniku, oden. There's so much to try.
Like even like the corner shop, like the mom and pop shop,
oh,
is gonna be even if it's really cheap, it's almost
it's still
you're gonna have a great meal.
Is so high. There's a few restaurants where I'm regulars at, and I have like my logo up on the wall, and it's great stuff.
One great thing is that I haven't gotten food poisoning once since I've come to
true.
Japan, as opposed to the U.S. where you get it like once a month.
And if you're feeling homesick, there's still plenty of there's Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, Subway. Like you can still get a pizza.
Exactly. Ustreamer 269311. I'm from Canada and I'm interested in the summer course. Do I need a visa? You will not need a visa because Canada is one of the countries that has an agreement with Japan. You have up to 90 days of visa-free travel in Japan. So if you want to take a part on our summer course, feel free to book, and then we can go ahead and reserve the spot for you. Then let's see. Speedy R, what are the games and anime that you guys both like?
Interesting. I can speak more on the games. Living in Tokyo, there are game centers like on every corner. I play a lot of music games. I play a lot of stuff that you can only find here in Japan. That's another culture shock, walking in a game center here in Japan. I can actually speak a little bit about intercultural too. As I would get, my train station was Akihabara.
Right.
So I walk down Electric Town every day.
Right.
There's a lot of games, there's a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Especially if you attend intercultural.
Absolutely.
You're going to see it every day.
Absolutely. Okay, we have another question from Jinjal3. What? Oh no, he already asked this one. Sorry about that. Oh. Got another question. What is the usual age range of students? And would it be possible for high school students from the U.S. to attend the courses? The normal age range for our students is between 18 to 24. In order to take a part on either our short-term course or our long-term course, we require our students to be at least 18 years old. So you would have to, complete your high school studies first before applying into our program. It's okay if you're 17 and you apply, but you have to be 18 at the time of your arrival. We've got another question. What is the deadline for October enrollment for a long-term course? The October enrollment deadline is the end of May. So if you could go ahead and send us an inquiry for October, and we can tell you all about all the deadlines and all the documents required for you to apply into our program. And then we have another question. What is the clothing stores like for people who are tall? Above 190 centimeters. Where would we shop? I can't answer that question for you. I can't answer that question.
I don't know what 190 centimeters is.
About 6
feet.
About 6.
Okay. The only issue I had, I'm just about 6 feet. If you go to the normal clothing stores like Uniqlo, you're gonna find clothes. That's not an issue. The only place I had a little bit of a problem was getting a suit. When I went suit shopping, I had to get a tailor just a little bit longer than normal. But other than that, normal clothes, you can find any size anywhere.
Right. And just to let you guys know, Amazon in Japan works fantastic. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, let's see here. We have a question. What if you're currently enrolled in another school? If you could go ahead and clarify on that question, we can answer that better for you. Or just send us an inquiry and we can go ahead and answer that question in more detail. We have a question from Speedy R. Have you gone to Maid Cafe before? Guilty.
Yeah, guilty too. Guilty. That's an interesting experience.
Yes. Would it be possible to teach Italian since English is the most language requested?
I can actually speak on that. I actually live with an Italian, and she actually got a few lessons teaching Italian. It's more difficult. It's not nearly as requested as English, but there are students out there. It's a little bit harder, but you can find it.
The best thing about that is, even if you aren't able to, let's say, get lessons teaching Italian, just because you are Italian or you can speak Italian, Italian restaurants will love to hire you, whether or not your Japanese level is, what they would like. But at the same time, it's still, very, very highly sought after.
Yeah.
When will the accommodation be arranged for students going in April? We're actually currently working on that right now. If you could just sit tight for a few more days, we'll be giving our April students some options in regards to accommodation. We have a question from, do the courses you take in Japan often transfer to universities back in the US? Unfortunately, because of the educational systems are very different, the credits will not transfer. Okay, we have a question for Michael. Were you happy with the progress that you made during the time frame that you studied?
This is it. I struggled a little bit with the language. I would have liked to be a little bit further than I am now. However, I am extremely happy with where I am right now. I came as a complete beginner, not knowing a word of Japanese, and I have no problem now ordering at a restaurant. I'm just getting by day to day with the city. I can hold a conversation, and I had no problem. I'm actually applying for a work visa very soon. I had no problem finding employment. Yeah, I'd say I'm very happy with the progress I made in a year.
I mean, to just add on to what Michael was saying, it really depends on, you know, the school you attend and also the effort that you put into
Absolutely.
it. If you come to Japan and you go to a high intensity school and you focus on that, you're going to be leveling up really, really fast.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it really depends, like, on on different personalities and different and different things, different factors. But just being in Japan means that your Japanese is going to get better.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna pick it up. Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there was a few nights where I probably should have been hitting the books instead of hitting the bar, but you get what you put into it.
Absolutely. We have a question. How is the internet access on the various accommodation options? I'm especially interested in how it would work on the Akamonkai's dormitory. It really depends. We can't tell you that for certain. However, just in a general sense, internet access in Japan is very, very fast. Way better than the U.S.
Way better.
I mean, my family back home is struggling with trying to get some fast internet, and they tell me what they want to sign up for, and it's like, what, you get a tenth of what I'm getting here.
For like double the price.
Yeah, so
it's ridiculous. Even the cell phone, I have a cell phone, and it's no matter where I'm at, if I'm in a building or in the subway, my internet on my cell phone is faster than my internet I had back in the States.
Right.
It's so good. And at the dormitory, I didn't live in the dorm myself, but I know students that did, and they had no problem. Like, they were able to Skype at high definition, stream. They had no issues with the internet.
Let's see here. I'm interested in staying for a year, but is there a way to extend the stay? Yes, absolutely. You can study for up to 2 years. As long as you first enroll with a long-term visa, it's really, really easy to extend your visa, so it's no problem. If you're interested, just like I said, please feel free to send us an inquiry and we'll help you out. Let's see. Alright. How hard is it to get a job as an English teacher if you are not a native English speaker? It really depends. I've known some Swedish students that have gotten jobs, part-time jobs speaking as teaching English, but it really depends on your level, and it really, really depends on your employment. But it's not impossible. That's what I would like to say. Okay, so unfortunately that's all the time we have for today. We thank you for joining us on our first ever Ustream live presentation. We will hopefully be doing this more frequently so that we're able to assist you guys in a more personal way to kind of let you guys know what the face of Gogo no Nihon is, and then be able to help you guys out that way. Please go ahead and send us any further questions that you might have directly through our website, and we will go ahead and help you out the best we can. Thank you very much.